I thank the media, I thank my fellow activists for coming here today to Jantar Mantar to mark this very, very crucial and important moment in the struggle, the genuine struggle of Sri Lankan people, the 100th day of their struggle against corruption, the corruption of their leaders, the corruption of their political parties, the struggle that they have been waging against imperialist forces like the International Monetary Fund, America, and many other capitalist imperialist forces which want to see the status quo return. They want so-called stability at the cost of people's lives, at the cost of people's will. Today, on the 100th day of Janatha, Aragalaya, the people's struggle, we here in India, in New Delhi, extend our solidarity to our brothers and our sisters who are fighting this very crucial battle for equality and for real change. Not just cosmetic change, not just a change in the face of a few politicians decided by a parliament that has already lost its legitimacy to the people. That parliament is an illegitimate authority. It may be legal, it may be a legal body as per the constitution. However, it has lost its legitimacy in the eyes of the Sri Lankan people. Why do I say this? Why do I say this? And why, as an activist, today me and many others have gathered to commemorate their struggle? Because the same constitution, the same parliament that meets on 19th July to decide the next president of Sri Lanka was the same constitution and the same parliament that has used all powers under the constitution to beat the people's movement back, to crush it and to repress it since March April. A document, a body, an institution that is hell-bent on pushing the people back, on keeping them distanced and removed from executive and legislative authority, that dismisses their struggle as anarchy. What anarchy are we talking about? For them who sit in the parliament, for all those opposition party leaders, for all those who have fled the scene and run away, for all those who stand by status quo, for them normalcy, for them the normative is large numbers of people standing in serpentine long queues for ration, for fuel, for gas. वो उनको normal लगता है. लोगों का संघर्ष, the struggle of the people against such horrible conditions, against the rising inflation, against the lack of medicine, food, gas, fuel, electricity. Those struggles are anarchy. Those struggles are not normal. The media and all the politicians and status quos should be ashamed of themselves today. And that is why we are here today. We are here today to extend support to the genuine cause of the people, the genuine voice of the people. Friends, let me caution you, especially those who are the advanced, vigilant sections of the movement, both in Sri Lanka and here in India and other parts of South Asia. This is an important movement which must not be derailed, which must not be waylaid by the underhand dealings, the behind-the-scenes negotiations of politicians in Sri Lanka today. The call or the attempt of the politicians in Sri Lanka to form an interim government and to meet as a parliament and elect a president. What a joke, my friends, what a joke. Let me remind all of you a simple fact. If you look at at the acting president, if you look at the acting president of Sri Lanka today, Vikramasinghe, what is his history? What is his stake? He comes from a political party, UNP, of which there is only one seat in the Sri Lankan parliament in the last election. And Vikramasinghe's party lost so badly, he also lost his seat when he contested the election in 2020. A seat that he had been winning since 1977. There is no trust in this acting president. There is no trust in him. But yet, having only one seat in the parliament, he was first promoted to becoming prime minister when the movement gained momentum in April, May of this year. Why? Why was he made prime minister? A person who has just one seat in the parliament? And today, look at the irony of the situation. As acting president, he now stands a very good chance of being chosen by the parliamentarians as president of Sri Lanka. Shame. This is a joke. What a joke, my friends. A person who lost the election in 2020, who has lost legitimacy in the eyes of the people, who has used the provisions of the constitution to crush and repress the movement, now stakes a claim to become the president of Sri Lanka? क्यों धूल झोंक रहे हैं लोगों के आंखों में? Who are you trying to fool? In these times, let me remind you that there are many other underhand dealings, many other corruptions that are going on. An entire conspiracy is unfolding in Sri Lanka while people struggle on their issues, on their genuine concerns. Look at the former president, Gotabaya Rajapaksa. He declared under pressure that he would resign on 13th July. What did he do? Only those who have much to hide would flee their country in times like this. And only then, when in safe havens, he decided to email his resignation. We know what he has to hide, and we know how much. And then, when this, in the first time in the history of Sri Lanka, that a president runs away, flees his duty, leaves his tenure midway, and then, for the first time in such a unique situation, unusual situation, we find the parliament take complete charge and say that they will choose the next president. What do the people want? Listen to the people. They have long questioned the executive presidency system. They have long questioned these 225 parliamentarians. Who are they to decide the future of Sri Lanka? And let us remember, friends, that what they plan to negotiate as an interim government will be what? As I said earlier, another nefarious, another underhand dealing with imperialist capitalist forces and corporate houses within Sri Lanka. Shame. They will negotiate with the International Monetary Fund a so-called bailout package or relief package, which will be what? A whole set of austerity measures that will make it harder for working people and the common masses to survive. Friends, this is a movement. This is a movement that echoes a situation we all witnessed. We all witnessed at a very historic moment, 1917, the Russian Empire. A similar situation of dual power. On one hand, an illegitimate set of institutions, politicians and government in Russia challenged or fought or wrested for legitimacy with the People's Soviets. And we know how history worked in that place. In Russia, the people threw in their confidence with the Soviets, that is the People's Assemblies. And we know what history has to show. A completely changed life for people. Not just a change in degree, a change in kind. A new form of economy, a new kind of society. And people, through their Soviets, through their people's assemblies, deciding on law, deliberating on policy, deciding the future of what is best for them and the country. And that dual power is something that we respect. We understand that currently, given all the corruption and underhand dealings and all the negotiations behind scenes and all the desperate attempts to bring in a new president, the reality is that the so-called legal institutions are illegitimate in the eyes of the people. It is their assemblies. It is their collectives on the street. It is their voice that is echoing from the streets. That is the legitimate power. That is what we commemorate today on the 100th day of Jantar Aragalaya emerging. The people's assemblies are precisely the bodies, precisely the alternative, precisely the overhauling that Sri Lanka needs today. Not just cosmetic political reforms by an interim government, not just another election, but an entire representative system that keeps going back to the people to get their support on every policy, on every law that is made or repealed. No parliament, no legislative authority can make any decision without getting the referendum on policies from the people's assemblies first. That is what has been achieved earlier in the Russian Revolution, and that is what can be achieved today in this moment. Despite the deadlock between the competing power of the people and the delegitimized power of politicians in Sri Lanka today, there is a silver lining. There is a glimmer of hope. Their persistent struggle against army tanks, water cannons and whatnot shows that they are willing to fight. They are willing to fight, and they are not going to be happy. They are not going to be satisfied with just a new president being deliberated on by a delegitimized parliament. They are not going to be satisfied with just another election. It's a real change that they want. It is a new polity, a new society, and a reorganized economy that reappropriates the wealth from the rich and gives to the poor. It is this vision of which we are seeing so many glimmers in the Jantar Aragalaya that we salute. It is that spirit in the movement that we stand with. The unity of people is why we are here today. And as we always know, the people will be victorious. The people will be victorious because the people united shall always be victorious. Our salute, our solidarity, our strength to our struggling friends, our struggling brothers and sisters in Sri Lanka. We send you our good wishes and an appeal that all of you who are watching this movement carefully, who are vigilant in this movement, please lead the people towards real change. Build the people's confidence in this moment of deadlock. Build the people's confidence and push for real change, not just cosmetic change, not just a change of guard, not just one politician, one Vikramasinghe, but real change. That is, let the people's assemblies come to power. Let them decide the future of Sri Lanka. Let them push back the IMF and all other capitalist imperialist forces so that a new Sri Lanka can emerge. It is with this that we extend solidarity and support on the 100th day to our Sri Lankan brethren. Long live the unity of Sri Lankan and struggling Indian people. Long live the unity of Sri Lankan and Indian people. Long live.